So back in early 2026, the tech industry got hit by, well, you could call it a targeted earthquake. This wasn't just the whole market taking a dip. No, this was a seismic shock aimed right at the heart of the software world. Today, we're going to break down the event that some people are calling the SaaSpocalypse, and the huge shift in artificial intelligence that really kicked the whole thing off. Okay, let's get into it.
First off, that name, SaaSpocalypse. You know, it sounds super dramatic because, well, it was dramatic. This wasn't just some catchy phrase an analyst made up. It was reflecting a very real panic that was ripping through boardrooms. It signaled this terrifying new fear that entire business models could become obsolete, almost overnight.
So what really happened? In that first week of February, investors didn't just sell some stocks. They bolted. They ran. And they were all running from a very specific sector, software as a service. We're talking about the heavy hitters in legal tech, financial services, sales platforms. They all took a massive hit. It was a precise, calculated retreat from an industry that, honestly, used to seem invincible.
And what's really incredible here is just how fast it all went down. I mean, look at this timeline. On January 30th, the AI company Anthropic drops a whole suite of new tools. Just 6 days later, on February 5th, they follow that up with a major model upgrade. In less than 1 week, the entire ground shifted, and the panic was on.
And that brings us to the epicenter of this whole earthquake. See, the catalyst for this massive market shock wasn't some complex financial crisis. It was just a couple of product updates from one company, Anthropic, that had these unbelievably disruptive implications.
So let's look at what they actually put out there. These weren't just new features. They were basically workflow killers. These co-work plugins for their AI Claude. They were designed to automate entire high-value professional tasks. I mean, we're talking about drafting legal documents, running complex financial models, handling core sales operations. These are the jobs that entire companies and incredibly expensive software suites are built around.
And here it is, the knockout punch, the price. For access to these incredibly powerful industry-shaking tools, $20. $20 a month. Just let that sink in for a second. And this table just lays it all out, the sheer scale of the disruption. On one side, you've got traditional enterprise software, where a company might be paying $50,000 a year, or, let's be real, way more, for one specialized tool. And on the other side, you have an AI platform doing a lot of that same work for about $240 a year. The value proposition of the old model wasn't just challenged. It was absolutely shattered.
And if anyone thought those plugins were just a fluke, well, the model update a few days later erased any doubt. Anthropic just doubled down. They released a smarter, more capable AI that was even better at reasoning and automating what consultants and lawyers call billable work. This was the confirmation. It was a deliberate strategy to replace big chunks of human expertise, not just to help it along.
So, this is about way more than just cheaper software. This is about a fundamental evolution in what AI can actually do. What we're witnessing here is the shift to what the industry is calling Agentic AI.
Now, Agentic AI, it's a completely different beast. The AI we're used to needs constant instruction, right? You have to guide it step by step. An agentic system, on the other hand, can take a complex goal, like, say, analyze our last quarter's sales data and create a presentation for the board, and it can execute every single step to get there, all on its own. It's the difference between you giving someone turn-by-turn directions versus just saying, take me home.
And that's really the crucial point here. This transition from assistant to executor. For years, we've had supportive AI, the co-pilot that helps you write emails a little faster. But now, we are entering the era of agentic AI, the system that can run the entire process for you. One helps you do your job, the other one does the job, period.
This technological leap isn't just some academic thing either. It has a very clear business endgame that investors picked up on instantly. It's really about who owns the relationship with the customer. See, for years, AI labs like Anthropic, they basically sold their tech as a utility, like an engine. They'd sell the API to other software companies who would then build their own products around it. With these new plugins, Anthropic basically announced that they were done just being the engine supplier. Now, they're building the whole car and competing directly with their old customers for who gets to be in the driver's seat. And that brings us right back to why the market reacted so violently. This is why the sell-off was so brutal. For investors, this was the moment AI crossed a critical line. It was no longer just a helpful tool that made existing software better. It had become an existential threat that could make that software totally irrelevant.
Which of course leaves us with a critical and maybe a little unsettling question. The first shockwave of this agentic shift, it slammed into the software industry. But the technology that can automate legal research and financial modeling, it's not going to stop there. So the real question isn't just about what happened to SaaS, it's about what happens when this wave comes for everyone else. Is your industry next?